Hey guys. So I wanted to touch on holidays because they're here and it's a big deal for a lot of people. There's a lot going on in people's lives. And I just remember there's totally different phases throughout my life when it comes to holidays. So, first thing I want to discuss or touch on is the separation of so my parents were divorced when I was 25. And I remember immediately it was just like when the holidays came around, it's like, where do you go? What do you do? How do we navigate having to go to two separate houses? So one of the things I will suggest coming from a divorced family is that you come up with your own traditions. One thing that we did was have brunch with our dad, and then we would have dinner with our mom. Now, that was hard on us because, for one thing, we're having this huge meal at brunch, and then you go to have dinner, another huge meal, and then all of the driving around. So that's not an easy thing to do. So if your grown children are doing this, or even if your younger children have to go through it, understand that it's very taxing on the kids to have to go two different places in one day for holidays. So one thing we did as we got older is we decided to celebrate different days. So we'll have a different day that we celebrate with our dad. Like we might do Christmas Eve with him, Christmas Day with mom. Made it a lot easier on us than having to go to two households and try to eat all this food in one day. And I know it's difficult. It's difficult for everyone in this instant. So another thing that I went through is there was a time where my mom and I were not on speaking terms, and it was holidays. And luckily, I was a person who had good friends and their families always invited me over, and I was always able to go with them. But I know everyone doesn't have that. And so once again, you have to, sometimes your family is not always your blood. You have to go with friends or do like a Friendsgiving. That's a big thing now, is hanging out with, having Friendsgiving with, I've had it with coworkers. I'm having it with a group of friends. For Christmas, I actually like to stay home on Christmas, and so does my daughter. But a lot of times we would travel because my mom would cook, and but we have our own special things that we do at home. So my daughter and I, and it's just us. Sometimes it's just two of you, sometimes it's just a couple. Or if you're completely by yourself, though, I do suggest that there are resources out there where you can go share a meal with other people. You just have to look them up. I'll try to see if I can look up some, but I'm in Michigan, so I guess it depends on where you're at. But my daughter and I, we would have like hot chocolate and baked cookies, and I would make a little dinner for us, and we would watch a Christmas movie. Usually it's Home Alone, but there's other ones we like. I love Elf. And we would make just our own holiday, our own special traditions. I know that this is a difficult time for a lot of people. It could be loss of a family member. I lost my uncle around Christmas, and that was a long time ago. I was when I was 17. But I remember the first 5 or 6 years, Christmas was very difficult because when he had his massive heart attack, we were in church doing a Christmas drive for the homeless. And this was in California. So it can be very difficult. Sometimes it's also the stress of what a holiday might mean to some people. I think some people, for instance, New Year's, everyone's like making these resolutions and you're supposed to like change your whole life because it's a new year. I don't believe that. So I think you can change it whenever you want. I would say don't put a lot on that. Have a good time. Think of something maybe that you maybe want to be with friends, have a good meal, but don't put the stress of a whole new year on you. I think that can be a bit much a lot of the times. You're like, what do I need to change? What do I need to do now? The whole weight loss thing, most people don't follow through with that starting at the beginning of the year, because you should really just start whenever you feel like starting. If you wake up and decide you're going to go start walking an hour, just do it. If you're going to change your diet, just do it. Don't wait for it to be New Year's. I'm trying to think what other holidays. So our birthdays, my daughter and I, our birthdays are right by each other. And so that's 2 weeks after Christmas. And a lot of times birthdays can be stressful. My mom made a big deal about our birthdays growing up, and I'm happy she did. You know, that was a good thing to celebrate our life. But one thing I will say is that I feel like I've cried on almost every birthday for some reason or another. Whether it's something didn't go how I wanted it to go, something didn't, it just wasn't going to happen how I wanted it to happen. And I think that can just be, we're putting so much on it that it's making it stressful. For a while, my daughter said she hated Easter. And I remember asking her, why do you hate Easter? And she said, because every year during Easter was always this big ordeal, having to find me a dress, and there was always something I didn't like, and finding the shoes, and then you'd be up all night doing my hair. She used to have hair like down to her back, thick, long, like ridiculous amount of hair. And it was always this big thing and this big production for Easter. And I get, hey, it was a lot for me, so I understand how she felt. But it took away the fun. It took away the celebration of the holiday, whatever holiday it is, if you're making it stressful. One thing I used to always say is that I felt like my mom was making it seem like the royals were coming for a holiday, and it was literally just us. And it was like, this really doesn't have to be such a stressful thing when it's literally just your kids. We're all coming together. It's supposed to be just a good time. You know, you talk, you laugh, you play games. And so I think that's why I wanted to make my holidays in my house more relaxed, because I grew up feeling very stressed out when it came to holidays. You guys, don't stress out about these holidays. Try to make it as simple as possible if you do celebrate, because I think a lot of times we're making it more than it has to be. We're making it more stressful. Oh, you need to dress up for this. Oh, you need to make sure you make this. Oh, you need to make sure you do that. And I do think it's beautiful to have traditions. I love traditions. I love that my daughter and I always have hot chocolate and cookies and watch a Christmas movie together. We'll probably always do that. Now that she's older, though, we are changing it up. And this is something you should also think about doing. If you're not a traditional person, some people want to stick to tradition every year. I'm not that type of person. I do like tradition, but I can change it up. Next year, we plan on being on a cruise for Christmas. That's the plan. And at first I was like, I don't know, should I do this? Like, it's Christmas. And then I was like, she's grown now. She's not getting a bunch of presents. Like, it's not some big, she doesn't have to have the whole, we're coming down to open the presents. Like, I think a cruise is going to be fine. So I brought it up to her, and she's like, yeah, I love it. She's like, it won't feel very Christmassy. And I'm like, well, usually I think on Christmas cruises, they make it pretty Christmassy on the cruise. But I mean, I love the idea. I hate the cold. I hate winter. So for me, being somewhere nice for Christmas, that's it for me. That's like the best thing on the planet. But I was just happy that she was interested in doing it, because I'm just like, doing the same thing every year, just, I don't even like eating the same food every holiday. Like, I do like the traditional stuff that my mom would make for Thanksgiving dinner, which is like greens, baked mac and cheese. I don't really do ham and turkey that much, but all the sides, you know. And so I do like that, but I just am okay with switching it up. I know there's some families, my mom actually had a friend whose family would change up the menu every holiday. Like, sometimes they would do Greek food, Chinese food, and they would make it, but it would just be like a different, they were just trying something new, not having the same thing every time. You just have to make it your own thing. You don't have to follow what society or what the world tells you that you're supposed to do for a holiday. Spending a bunch of money, having certain food, being with certain people. Make it your own to make it less stressful. And I think ultimately that's how you end up having a better time, is when you take away some of the stress of it all and just have a good time. It's supposed to be a good time. It's not supposed to be stressful and like, oh, the holidays are coming. Oh, I got to be around my family. Oh, I got to do this. So it's not supposed to be that. So make it the best that you can. I'm going to put in the description, if you're in Michigan, I'm going to try and link places that you can go if you would like to eat with other people. I'm going to look that up for you guys. Hit like, hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video.